truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the JohnAge Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
All right, folks, you found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the AnomicAge, and I am your humble host, JohnAge. Happy to be back with you once again in the wee hours of the AM, almost anyway. We're about 10 minutes from the witching hour. So thank you ever so much for being with us. We're sitting at 11:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hailing proudly from the coastal plains of the Old North State, I will be your tour guide this evening as we take a somewhat satirical journey down the path of murder, destruction, mayhem, and the extermination of human life on this planet. A forced march into obsolescence thrust upon us by a global satanic death cult of pedophiles. Check out AnomicAge.com if you've not already done so. Looks exactly like that. Feel free to like all the likes, subscribe to all the subscriptions, become a patron. Anything you'd really like to do, it's right there at AnomicAge.com. So that's the best way that you can help me out. That's the best way that you can really do anything to help the show out. So please consider going to AnomicAge.com. Free iPhone app, free Android app, subscribe by email link, and so much more right there at AnomicAge.com. All right, folks. Sorry for the brief technical difficulty there in the beginning. I'm not going to belabor those points. I really don't care. Tonight is a difficult night. And to be quite frank with you, the weight of it didn't really hit me until about 30 seconds before showtime. Or just the gravitas of this whole thing. It really did not come full circle until I was really about to go showtime. Not to be a complete pathological maniac or anything, but I do tend to just turn off all emotions and just do the task. That's really kind of how my brain works. My wife and I were talking about this. Well, not my my somewhat psychopathic brain, I guess, but just talking about the murder of Charlie Kirk hours ago. And she was getting really upset and really emotional about it. I mean, for good reason. This is a dark day when anybody gets murdered, especially kind of live for the world to see in that sort of gruesome fashion. But to be real with you, it did not really hit me until right about showtime. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm one of those sort of people that can just sort of cut off all emotions and focus on what needs to be done. And then we will kind of revisit those emotions when we have to. And I guess that's kind of what went down today, because I don't know when the exact time I learned of Charlie Kirk's murder. It was early on in the afternoon, at least Eastern time, when this occurred. But it became very quickly a media feeding frenzy. It really. And this, I believe, is emblematic of the death of legacy media, because everybody across the world was really able to get this information just like that. People were sharing video. People were sharing different angles. People were sharing maps. People were sharing just up to the second information about what was really going on. And again, I think that's a for better or worse thing. I was going to do a show, and probably still will, just about the media blitz that really encompasses all of our lives now, and it leaves us in this state where I would argue that it's always a constant trauma-based mind control in our current society, because we're inundated all the time with so much media. And I think this kind of is one of those very telling events. I don't know if we've seen something like this really play out on the social media. Well, the example I was about to give predates social media, but I believe this event Ironically enough, we're at the precipice of 9/11. We'll be at 9/11 here in 8 minutes. And that was an event that really happened kind of pre-social media. There was a fledgling internet, but it really wasn't the internet of today. But that was an event that for the present generation and boomers and the Xers like myself and everybody, that was something that was seared into our brains because they kept showing the buildings and the buildings and the buildings. So I hate to do that to you today, but I'm going to show you the videos, and we're going to show you sort of two different views of Charlie Kirk getting murdered. We're going to show a myriad of other videos that really has to do with the events of today. It was something that I was putting together almost 5 minutes before show. 5 minutes before show, I had all the videos where they needed to be and everything exactly as it needed to be. And of course, we came to the precipice of the show. It had the same asinine technical difficulties as we had last night. So I'm not really sure what to say about that. I do not believe it's on my end, but I'll triple dog check it in the future. But I say all that to say this. I have so much to get into, I can't even spare a minute, and I've already wasted 5. So we're obviously going to cover Charlie Kirk's murder. I know many people that listened to the previous show on Tuesday, I said I was going to get into the Erna Korutska murder at much greater depth and really cover the history of what led up to that and so forth. I'm not going to do that tonight, clearly. I was going to do that on the Thursday show. For the Thursday show, which is going to be coming to you at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm not sure what I'm going to get into on the Thursday show. We're going to see kind of what pops off, no pun intended, between now and then. There's no shortage of things to talk about. I can assure you, I could pull like 30 shows out of my hat right now, and we'd have enough for Thursday. But tonight, quite obviously, we're going to cover the murder of Charlie Kirk. Utah Valley University, that's in Orem, Utah. That's a little bit north of Provo, Utah, kind of almost in the center of the state, a little bit of south of Salt Lake City. So that's where these events took place today. Took place on the university campus there, Utah Valley University. Initially, I heard it was Utah Valley College, but it is indeed Utah Valley University in Orem, O-R-E-M, Utah. Any mispronunciations, my apologies to those people in Utah. But we're just going to jump right into the obvious deep end of the pool. Emotionally, I'm still not really sure where I'm at with this whole thing. I'm just going to cover the obvious stuff here. I'm not someone who knew Charlie Kirk. I'm obviously familiar with his work. I can't say that I agreed with everything 100%. He was towing that Israel banner pretty hard. So, I obviously don't agree with any of that. But that's neither here nor there. I'd do the same sort of coverage if it was fill in the blank pundit on the left. So that's not my fish to fry here, so to speak. We're going to show you two different views of this murder. An obvious viewer discretion is advised. I don't know why you'd have any younger viewers up at 11:30 p.m. Eastern time watching this. But full disclosure, there's going to be some language in the videos. I'm never one to give you a bunch of 4-letter words. I don't think ever done that in 5 years of this show. But that being said, there's going to be some language, I believe, in the second clip we're going to show you. Obviously, it's going to be gory. There's no censoring. There's no grayed out or fuzzed out images here. So this is what it is, folks. This is not a la the Erna Korutska video that we saw last night where everything was blurred and you didn't see anything. This is real deal. It's showing you the whole 9. So if you got any kids up, if you don't want to see this, I can understand it. I mean, my wife and I were watching this earlier this afternoon, made her physically sick to see this. So viewer discretion is advised. I don't know how many times I've said that during the history of the show, probably twice. So it is what it is, folks. This is not for the faint of heart, but it's something that must be covered. All right, we're going to show you this first video here. This is kind of more of a front-on view of this. The next one we're going to show you is kind of more of a side view of this. And I'll try to just roll through some of the things as we go here. Let's hit it, folks.
Not counting gang violence. Great.
We're going to replay it a little bit more here. Just one more time, folks. I promise.
Gang violence. Great.
Okay, the longer clip, in my opinion, is going to give you a better vantage point of this. There was several views of this online that were slowed down. I think Joe Biggs posted one that was really slowed down, and I wasn't able to get that clip, so I'll just talk you through one of the theories of this. It seems pretty obvious he's wearing some body armor, some chest protection there. One of the theories slowed down on this seems to indicate that perhaps the bullet hit the body armor and some shrapnel, or the bullet ricocheted up and then hit this man in the throat. I can't confirm nor deny that. Based on the evidence, I think it's kind of still unsubstantiated. But that's one of the theories out there. One of the theories out there is that it wasn't a direct throat shot. It was a ricochet or shrapnel coming up from body armor. It does appear to me that he clearly has got some sort of body armor on for good reason. So we'll just leave that in the undecided bin for right now. This next one we're going to show you, sorry for that preemptive audio there. Next one we're going to show you gives you a little bit more exposition. It's from more of a side or profile view. It's got some guy, of course, talking about tranny shooters and so forth. I don't know if that's ironic here. I don't know if this was premeditated. I kind of would lean towards the no, but you know, make your own decisions on this one, folks.
This is it. Yeah, is that fair to say? All right, great. So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
It's 5. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence.
Great.
Get down. What the fuck?
Sorry for the language, folks. All right, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'm going to play it from the top and just we'll run through this one more time, folks. I'm not doing this for gore factor. I'm not doing this for clicks. I'm doing this for edification. So this is something that should and must, I would say, be seen,
So, do you
witnessed,
know how many
and
transgender
digested.
Americans
Great.
have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
It's 5. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence.
Great.
That's tough to watch, folks. It really is. I'm just giving you the kitchen sink on this one. I was going to pull this up as well, but I could not find a 100% substantiated source for this. So I'll just say anecdotally, I believe there was a Twitter post from Harrison Smith, InfoWars. I believe it was not this week. I believe it was last week. Maybe I'm wrong. But I believe Harrison Smith was the one saying that, again, alleged sources were saying that Charlie Kirk had mentioned, and again, I hate to even say this because this is third hand, I guess, source, but Charlie had mentioned something to the effect that if he had ever changed his views on Israel, that they would kill him. again, it's completely anecdotal at this point in the game. You can see the Harrison Smith quotes online if you want to for that. I think they're pretty easy to find on this this version. So we're just going to roll through here, and we're going to queue up this one because this one is also, I would say, you know, I want everybody to kind of break this down, view it for yourself, see it for what you want to see it as. This one is indicating that both of the security he's got in the back there's a gentleman in a white hat, and there's another guy that's doing something with his arms crossed here. So I'm just going to let it play, let it do what it do. You know, give me your take on it. Fill up the comments on your take on this if you want to. But we'll just watch it, and we will converse.
Have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
It's 5. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Yep, that's exactly it, folks. Somebody's out there in the chats talking about the baseball signs. I agree. That's a darn good question. What's up with the baseball signs? You'll see the same guy in another video, the guy in the white hat, appears to be part of his security team, appears to be driving a black SUV, I believe, when they're taking Charlie out of there. So I'm assuming security. I don't have any insider information on this, but those are the two individuals on the screen. The guy in the white hat seems to be doing a tap or a tip of the hat. And you got the guy in black sunglasses here, black shirt, seems to be doing something with his arms crossed. I don't know if he's stealing third or what. I don't know, folks. I'm as clueless as I would suppose the average person is on what the devil's going on here. But we're going to watch this one more time, see it for yourself, leave your own thoughts on this one. I don't know, man. Yeah, both of these guys definitely need to be questioned, that's for sure. This is it. You got the guy in the white hat.
It's 5. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you.
Keep your eyes on the guy in the white hat here. Tip of the hat. Okay, what's that about? Touching his face. I could just
Counting
be
or not
reflex.
counting gang violence?
Guy in the black shirt doing some sort of stealing third sign here. I don't know what the devil's going on there. Let's go back one more time.
Over the last 10 years.
Somebody's getting irritated about
Counting or
me
not
showing
counting
this. I don't
gang
care.
violence?
Great.
Okay, so after the guy does the signal there, with his arm, that's when the shots ring out. Okay, so yeah, I would say both of these individuals absolutely, need to be questioned. That's for sure. Absolutely. So we got two different map images here. I don't think I gave you all of them because I pulled one of them. I should have wrote this one down, darn it. I did not do that. Doggone it. All right, well, you're just going to have to excuse me for about 2 seconds on this one because I'm going to have to find out what in the world this building was. Because I don't think we're going to be able to see it in this one. I want to say the building was LOOS. Let me see. God dog it. Just had that thing right up there again. Can't pause it in just the right spot. LOSEE Center. Okay, I'm sorry, folks, for having to look at something real quick. Okay, this is a map of the crime scene. I'm going to put this on the screen for you, too. So this is the map of the crime scene right there at Utah Valley University. So that is LOSEE Center. That's what we're looking at here. That's the large building that kind of has an odd shape to it. That's the center there that many are hypothesizing this whole thing popped off. LOSEE Center. That's one of the main large buildings there at the Utah Valley University. So this is going to make more sense in a minute because we're going to show two other videos here which really call into question where these shots are coming from. So we got this area hypothesized by many as to where the shots came from. And it's going to make more sense in a minute, so just bear with me. So this is giving you direct line of sight with the victim here. If you're following that yellow line, I don't know if you can see it too well. I'll zoom in for you if you can't. There we go. Better, I believe, for most folks. So LOSEE Center here. That's this big building right about there. And you see in that right-hand corner, we got direct line of sight here to the murder. And this is, I guess, estimated length of 145.01 yards, which is not a long shot, folks. To anybody that's got a optic, that's not a long sight at all. You can do that with iron sights. That ain't a long sight is what I'm saying. But that's showing you the direct trajectory here. And I can't recall what this area that is looks like a red brick walkway back there in the back. I cannot recall what this is called. I had a different map image up. It was called something effective like a flag walk or something like that. So I say all that to say this. Windage seemed to not be an issue. If there's anything called flag walk in the direct line of sight of the victim, so to speak, if you got a guy 145 yards above that, he's shooting downward, fish in a barrel. This is obviously some sort of amphitheater area where Charlie Kirk was. He's going to be at the lowest point of this. So again, that's going to be line of sight down 145 yards away. And you got windage, easy to calculate if you got flags blowing there in the distance of the Vic. I'm just saying that's what it's looking like as far as the calculations, the distance, obvious windage being able to be estimated here. So just showing you the obvious here, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot more to get into. We got two different other images here. This is probably stuff everybody's already seen online. I just really wanted to compile this, I would say, in a more concise manner that I hope everyone's able to digest in, let's say, an hour, because we don't have a heck of a lot of time for this show here. But this is one of the early video images here. And as you see, it's going to have at the very tail end of this, it's going to have that center. This is the center that I just depicted here in that previous image. So this is the video that you're about to see. And this is where the beginning of that yellow line is. That's exactly that center. You're going to see the name come up at the very end. Excuse me. So we're going to play that. Make your own conclusions here, folks.
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying? Huh. He just ran from over, where's my finger? Well, from over there, ran in, and now he's right there. Just saying, just getting right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying? Huh. He just ran from over, where's my finger? Well, from over there, ran in, and now he's right there. Just saying, just.
And that's that center right there, LOSEE. I don't know the pronunciation of that. I'm not going to try. It doesn't matter. Pointing out here, there's a shooter on the roof. This guy with video just said that the shooter basically went from the right to the left, went down in a prone position, and that's going to be direct line of sight to the Vic with the windage in the background. He's shooting at a downward trajectory with obviously a pretty decent rifle. He's going about 145 yards. So, again, just giving you the information. All I'm giving you is evidence here, folks. You can make your own conclusions, draw your own conclusions in the chat. I see a few people out there chatting on this. Feel free to share this live stream. Feel free to share the links to this show, because all I'm going to do is compile the evidence, let them fall where they may, so to speak, here on this one. All right. I don't know whether to play a lot of the audio with these videos. It's not really necessary, but I'll just let the audio roll with this one as well. This is a different vantage point. I'm not sure what building this is actually in, but this seems to have almost that same parallel or profile vantage point from the Los Center that we just saw in the other video, except this is coming from a different building. And this is also showing somebody on the roof clearly with a weapon. And they look like they're going down from a prone position, jumping up and running. We're going to let this play a couple times too and just see what you think. That's the guy moving. Let's show this one more time. So, I don't know if that showed that thing or not. Let's show it one more time just for good measure. So we're showing the individuals, even putting an arrow on them. I'm just kind of looping this track here. Shows the guy on the roof. He's going. There's the red arrow showing where this guy's going. He's going across, and it looks like down with this. So once again, you really have to call into question what's going on. Why is there somebody on the roof? I realize at certain speaking events, and I have no earthly idea if this is true of Charlie Kirk or not, but quite obviously at big speaking events, presidents, senators, governors, and the like, there's usually a counter team on the scene. So there's a counter sniper group on the scene for these big events that is strategically put in locales to take out would-be snipers prior to a shooting going on. So again, I don't know if that's the case with this. I cannot speak to that, but we clearly have at least one. I don't know if this is the same exact vantage point in the same building. I'm thinking it is the LOSE building, LOSEE building at the Utah Valley University. I'm believing that's the case. I'm not 100% certain. I'm not going to go out on the record for that. But what we do have is clearly two different video of a guy on a roof or a girl on a roof. Hell, we don't know. On a roof before the shots and after the shots. Appears to be somebody in a prone position before the shooting. Seems to be somebody running and going down. Looks like a stairwell to me. We can look at it one more time. We'll run it back one more time. To me, that looks like the stairwell of a building. I don't know that to be true, but it looks like that guy or girl is going down. See? Right there, going down. So, draw your own conclusions. Post away in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking on that one. Seems to me that there's clearly something going on as far as somebody on the roof with both of these scenarios. So, we got some more though. I think that's the only video that we have, but we do have a whole lot. Well, we got several more videos. I apologize. We got a whole lot more videos. All right, so let's put this one on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and zoom it in for you because somebody's going to want to know what the world. I don't have the video of this one. I was going to put it in there, but it's not necessary. It looks very much like... I hate to say this, but it looks very much like the Lee Harvey Oswald getting thrown into the car or getting escorted into the police station. So that's just me. That's probably just my own bias, but it looks like it. So this is George Zinn, Z-I-N-N. George Zinn seemed to be the first patsy on the scene. So this is a guy that they definitely escorted away in handcuffs. He was saying, shoot me, while they were escorting this guy away. I cannot speak to whether or not he is still in custody or whether or not he has been released from custody. I don't know. But this is George Zinn. I would say patsy number one. If you follow me on social media at all, that's what I entitled everything I put up about George Zinn in the last 8 hours. He seemed to be quite clearly patsy number one. So, not sure if that's the case or not. I'm going to put this one up on the screen for you too. Excuse me. So, this is a guy referencing George Zinn. Again, I don't know whether to take this guy I do. I give you that. I was going to say, I don't know whether to take him with 100% proof or not. I don't take anyone with 100% proof. So I don't know if this guy is a plant. I don't know if the guy is giving accurate intel. All I know is this was a gentleman interviewed on the scene after the event happened at Fox News. They seemed to be pretty excited to get him off the screen quickly. I think he was telling a little bit too much truth and they had to cut away quick. We'll just let it do what it do. See what you think.
Apologize. Let's go to this witness on the scene.
A little bit backstage, and I turn and look, and they were arresting a guy by the name of George Zim. Yeah, I know the guy. I don't think he did it. I think they arrested the wrong guy. I think whoever did it was a good shooter, a sharp shooter. It was one shot right directly to the heart, and we need to find out who did this. I think there should be a research completely done that took place hours, maybe a day before anything went on. Who could be there and pull that trigger and do it? And I don't think it was George Zim. He was poor, broke. He maybe was on medication, a little bit loony boon. Maybe a perfect person to pick and say that did it, but I don't think he did it at all.
So at this point, but did you see him taken into custody? Did you see him with any kind of thing in his hand, any device in his hand or anything like that?
Yeah, I saw when they actually put the handcuffs behind his back.
Okay.
I followed them.
All right,
when
we're
they
going to go to
took him
Jason
the trooper
Chaffetz.
car.
So there you go. Take it as you will. Again, I'm not sure what to make of any of this, folks. I'm just relaying the facts as we know them at the current time. The only thing I will say, this guy said it was a direct shot to the heart, which it wasn't, unless he got shot directly in the heart and it ricocheted up. But from all those videos that I did see that were slowing it down frame by frame and intimating that he got hit in the body armor, it looked like it was more up. It didn't look like a heart shot. It didn't look like in the middle of the chest at all. So, you know, again, do with it what you will. I would say it was either a shot to the neck, to the throat, actually, or it was indeed shrapnel coming from that body armor. I'd like to see a little bit more forensics on that so we can actually make a more definitive conclusion. I couldn't make any definitive conclusion from that slow down footage. That's why I didn't put it up there. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is a red herring or what to actually make of this one. But I agree. I think that guy does need to be careful. They were real quick to get him off Fox. Quick. They was like, oh, we got to move on. Move on why exactly? We have an eyewitness, allegedly, trying to tell you what he just saw, and we're just going on to sports. I mean, that seems pretty to me. We got Mo. This is from someone calling themselves Omar at Naraha Galvs. I guess that's how they're pronouncing this. I don't know. This is from the 9th of September. Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I guess that's abbreviation or just stupid speak. I really hope someone evaporates him literally. I hate people that say literally all the time. These are the same people that say, what's that other idiot crud that just drives me berserk that people say all the time? Does that make sense? That's one of my favorite things that makes me want to choke people to death. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Whenever you hear someone say this, please run away. What's the other one? There's another one that is driving me completely berserk because I've noticed all over social media people saying this. Oh, this is the one. They say right. They say right all the time, like they're looking for your approval. And they have to say some silly statement, and they have to say, right? Oh, yeah, this is obviously murder, right? Good night, nurse. Please stop these people, folks. Please stop these people. Stop these people from abusing the English language. I digress. Back to Omar Nara Galvs. So, old Galvs seems to have an inkling that something is going to happen on September 10th. This is before, obviously, the events of now this past day, because we're sitting at 12:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anyway, so I would say this person, whatever the belief this thing identifies as, would absolutely be a person of interest, because it seems old Galvs had either some prior knowledge or was hoping. I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of some of this stuff. There was a lot of other social media posts with some sort of scary tranny-looking creature that seemed to also be LARPing away that something might happen. I kind of found that less credible than this, so I just chose to not put it up there. But again, another person of interest, to say the least. So much more. My gracious, so much more. I'm going to cut the sound on this one because there's no sound to really speak of. I believe the only sound on this, somebody says, is that a gun? I don't. All right, I'll just leave the sound in there. It doesn't hurt the show or help the show. But this is yet another individual that was taken into custody. Let's see this one, folks. I don't know what to make of this one either. I have some follow-up news after we watch this clip. I'm just giving it to you just like it is. So, looks like we got a Blanco, a white guy, in a white shirt with a white hat. Looks like some black jeans. I can't tell if those are fatigue pants or what. They kind of look like they got a little tight bottom to them. They don't appear to be tucked into the boot or anything. We got someone going through the bag here. I'm trying to just narrate this for people that are just going to get the podcast version, because somebody out there is just going to see the audio, or excuse me, just hear the audio and not know what in the devil's going on. So we got the cops going through the bag. He's got a green bag. They're going through his belongings. They've already put the suspect in the car. We got traffic going on behind him. We got a black police vehicle, looks like a black SUV. In the background, we got about 5 cops. We got one cop carrying what appears to be a rifle with a suppressor on the end. It looks like a wood stock, just like a traditional walnut sort of finish, like a traditional wood stock rifle. I'm just going to pull it back on that just a little bit. Sorry for people that are just tired of seeing this sort of stuff. I know most people have seen this all day. But I'm going to show this one more time. Just going to show you the rifle this guy's pulling out here. And he takes it to the back of the car. Looks like there's two police cruisers. I don't know what the devil this footage just kind of pans to people filming. I don't know why. That's nice. All right, let me show you the rifle one more time. So we got a police cruiser in the front, a police cruiser in the back. Both of them are SUV style. We got the guy already in the car. Here we go, the rifle being removed and put into another vehicle. Okay, so it looks like a more traditional style rifle.
That's his rifle.
Can we see that one more time? There we go. Okay. So we got clearly a wood stock, long rifle. We got a suppressor on one end. We got a strap on the rifle as well. Carry strap. Let's see. I'm trying to get every little ounce of information from this thing here. Okay, I thought so. We do have a scope. We got optics on there. We got a suppressor on there. We got a sling strap on there. So that is said rifle. There's nothing else to get from this. They just sort of pan to the back and show people in the back there. Come on, I don't need that job mess. Anyway, yeah, we don't need to see all that. So I'll give you the updates on that one, because I was up to the minute before this show went live tonight. So according to the last thing I saw, up to the minute, is that the FBI released this individual that was taken into custody. The same guy that appeared to have this exact same rifle, they're claiming was a pellet gun. I don't know, again, if this is a red herring meant to just be a weapon of mass distraction for the average American person, much like the would-be Lee Harvey, George Zinn that they took into custody as well. I don't know the name of this guy, so I can't give it to you. But from the last reports I saw, like 5 minutes before showtime, this was an individual that they took into custody and then released, had a pellet gun for some unknown reason with the suppressor and optics on it and a sling. I don't know. I have no idea if that's a suppressor or not. Looks like it to me. But that being said, why would that be on a pellet gun? I don't even know how you would put that on a pellet gun, which raises more questions than answers to me. I don't know whether to even to go back on this. I'm just being insane to go back on this. What the heck? Let's go one more time on this. Just, I'll walk you through once. That's his rifle. Okay, so we clearly have the optics, a scope of sorts on there. Let me see if I can pause it. Okay. Doggone it. Can't pause it at just the right spot. That's his rifle. There we go. So there you see the officer with his purplish gloves on. He's holding it by the end of the barrel there, and to me that looks like some sort of suppressor on the end of that barrel. It does not look like a straight barrel to me like I would see on any kind of rifle, certainly not on a pellet gun. So again, I don't know. You can find coverage of this all over social media that shows the same guy, that shows a more close-up of the video of the pellet gun. Draw your own conclusions on that one. I'm not really sure what to actually say about that, except for the fact that it looks real fishy to me. So is that the red herring? Is that a weapon of mass distraction? I don't know. I don't know what anybody would be doing at any sort of event like this, even close to said event, with a pellet gun, with a styrofoam gun. I mean, anybody that's bringing that to that event is doing that for a reason. It's doing that for optics, pun intended. So you're either doing that to draw attention away from the actual shooter, you're doing that to get bad attention for yourself, or you're just doing that to get arrested. I mean, there's really no other reason why you would bring anything that even resembles a rifle to a public event. Especially somebody that, obviously a political commentator, I don't care, right, left, or otherwise. You don't do that unless you're trying to do one of those three things that I just said. You're either trying to get arrested, you're trying to distract from the real shooter, or you're just trying to get bad attention from everybody at the event. I mean, anybody at the event is clearly more of a right-wing patriot event. So it just makes no sense. It's one of those non-sequiturs, does not compute. So not sure what to make of that either, folks. The last two bits of coverage are really just sad, in my humble opinion. I'm going to show you this. This is from BSNBC, in which they are covering, at this point, it's breaking coverage of the event. I'll let it play out, and we'll talk.
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration or...
Excuse me, what kind of low-grade moron do you have to be to say something like this or believe something like this? I'm clearly, this is for the lowest common denominator voters on the left that would even fall for something like this. I'll play it one more time just to make you sick.
I don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration or so. We have no idea about.
Okay. We don't know if it was a supporter. We're to believe a Charlie Kirk supporter, a Donald Trump supporter, a right of Mao supporter, a we don't want our country going down the toilet supporter. But this boob, I don't even know who this guy is. This boob wants to say, we don't know if it's a supporter just shooting his gun off in celebration. Man. You got to be a special kind of stupid to say something like that. You really do. Good grief, folks. But again, this is what the Mockingbird media, the legacy media, the folks that are passed off or passed along as being credible, this is exactly what they're feeding you, the pablum. This is, that old adage, how do you grow mushrooms? You feed them something and keep them in the dark? Yeah. That's really what we're seeing here. Completely deranged. I know I'm going a little bit over showtime, but I got a little bit of a late start because of these fun-filled technical difficulties. So just bear with me. Don't have much more to go. I'm going to show you this one. This one's going to be a little bit hard to hear, so I'm going to try to mic up the volume on this one a bit, and we will see if we can make this discernible. We'll see. I'm going to let it play out. We'll talk in a minute. And I'm going to try to max out the volume because it's very hard to hear on this one. Sorry if it sounds ridiculous on your end.
Let's, wait a minute. The House will be in order. 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 We will join prayer right after this, okay?
I'm not sure how easy that was to make out for you. I'll just give you the blow-by-blow as this is going on. This is from the House floor. We got Representative Lauren Boebert. Everybody's just learning of the Charlie Kirk assassination. So Lauren Boebert is saying, yo, we need to have a prayer and a moment of silence. And immediately the scum is saying no.
Let's wait a minute. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The House will be in order.
Then we got Rep. Anna Paulina Luna saying, y'all are the ones that caused this, referring to the communist filth, quite obviously. You know, in masquerade as the Democratic Party. So that's what we got going on at the House of Representatives, in our dear old government. We got, in my opinion, the scum revealing themselves for what they are, folks. Wouldn't you think? The scum revealing themselves for what they are. So I don't think this would be a lot to ask if any sort of individual was assassinated like this. A moment of silence and a prayer. How blasphemous could that be in the House of Representatives, in the alleged land of the free, home of the brave, or as I always say, a land of the sheep, home of the slave, because we appear to be slaves to these oligarchical pieces of doo-doo. But Lauren Boebert's wanting a prayer and a moment of silence, and the communist filth are immediately heckling back, no, we can't have that. Can't have that at all, can we? Oh, my gracious goodness sakes alive, folks. I really just don't know what to say sometimes, because it is just that insane. So, in my humble opinion, the proverbial they. Who is they, John? It's the globalists. It's the Jews. It's the scum. It's the communists. It's the Satanists. It's the Muslims. Whatever you want to say they are. Ooh. I would suggest to you and submit to you that they are quite summariously uncloaking and revealing themselves for exactly what they are. These are evil individuals. So however you want to frame it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, those of you who still identify as human, however you want to frame this whole situation, the people pulling the strings on this, and I'm not so sure Harrison Smith wasn't wrong about those aforementioned comments. That's exactly why I was never a big Charlie Kirk fan in the first place, because he was pandering for Israel. But I digress. Not my ball of wax for this evening. Whoever they are, it's quite clear that they want you dead. I've covered this 8 days a week and twice on Sunday at this show for darn near 5 years. So if this is new to you, please apprise yourselves of the truth. As I say, the tagline for the show is propagating truth in a world of lies. And we are definitely in a world of lies, folks. Because this is a death sentence. I mean, people, they don't want you to be alive anymore. There's a reason why the air, the food, the water is all poisoned. And it ain't because they love you. There's a reason why Operation Lockstep and Event 101 was happening, because they want you dead. It was a precursor for the COVID hoax. It was flowers for Algernon training. It was an IQ test. It was a separating the wheat from the chaff. Can we find the lowest common denominator? Can we do the Stanford prison experiments and see how things shake up? Can we do the psychology study where they convince them to shock each other? Except in this instance, they convince people to wear masks and take a deadly vaccine and walk 6 feet apart and behave like sheep going to slaughter. Look into the Temple Grandin work if you want to. Really see how she was able to convince cattle to willingly go to slaughter. I would say that's exactly what was going on a few years back with, you know the one. PSYOP 19 is what I used to refer to it as when I actually cared about being on YouTube. But I digress. Anyway, that's exactly the deal, folks. So they want you dead. There's a lot of questions as to why they went after Charlie Kirk. I think someone really stated it quite aptly online. I don't know who, it wasn't me, but it fell in line with what I was already thinking. They wanted Charlie Kirk dead because they don't know if Vance, whatever he's calling himself today, after changing his name 3 to 4 times, they don't know if Vance can really pull the ball over the end zone after Trump leaves office. Hopefully at the end of his term, and he won't be assassinated or what have you. And I'm not even suggesting he's doing the best of jobs. I'm just saying he's doing better than the previous ne'er-do-well oldster that was in the office. So I do believe that the proverbial they fear that J.D. Vance was not going to be the guy for the job here in a few years. Because I do also believe that enough of Trump's actual base, you know, the base that he urinated all over and defecated on a few weeks back when he came out against anyone that came close to talking about Epstein and said it was all a sham, a con, a hustle, and a dodge by the Democrats. Remember, he urinated all over his base? Yeah. I think the same people that caught a lot of urine on that are also the same people that know about Peter Thiel. You know, the in my humble opinion, agent, Mossad, most likely, CIA, I would say assuredly, that is running the Palantir scam. You know, the part that had to be in the big, beautiful bill so that we could do far more than old Barry Soetoro did when he was going to have all the threat fusion centers, which never went away, by the way. Did you forget about the threat fusion centers? Yeah, they're still there. They're collecting all your data. They're collecting all your data in, what is it, Facebook or is it LifeLog? Remember? LifeLog went offline and Facebook just popped right up, huh? Same day and everything. Coincidence? Sure. So collecting all your data and sending it to a threat fusion center. Yeah, just like old Cook baby with Google. Mm-hmm. But I digress. So I'm thinking they don't think that old Vance can pull the ball over the end zone. So they were afraid that old Charlie Kirk might actually run for office, I guess, in a few years. He was 31 at this point in the game, so I guess he'd be barely able to run here in a few years. But 31-year-old man, kids, wife, the whole 9 yards, he actually seemed to be the stereotypical enemy that the left hates, the enemy that the globalist hates, the enemy that all the migrants seem to hate, the enemy that all the racist blacks hate, the enemy that assuredly our greatest allies hate. He seemed to be a white Christian male who was married to another white Christian female. Holy shnikes. He had the nerve to reproduce and everything. He had viable offspring. My gracious goodness sakes alive. He also seemed to be a Christian, although he was toting this malarkey bag of Judeo-Christian, which is comical if you actually look into it. But I digress. I do believe that they feared he might actually run here in a few years. And that might be some competition for Mr. Vance or whatever he's calling himself these days. Because I do believe that's the puppet that they actually want to put in there. You know, the never Trumper, the change your name 3 times guy, the golden parachute that appeared out of nowhere and just seemed to work for Peter Thiel of Palantir for why exactly? How did he get that gig? Más preguntas, clase, más preguntas, no? Así. He also had the government, or I should say the military pedigree, but not exactly the boots on the ground pedigree that you might want. Nay, he was in the shadows. He was in the shadows running some intel and running some media, running some marketing, or so it would seem. So, everybody is wanting to know, why, John? Why did they go after Charlie Kirk? You could go shallow into the pool and say it was just a lone white guy, that crazy white guy. You know, maybe it was old George Zinn. I don't know. But nevertheless, we know it was a crazy white guy. The usual fall guy for every gunman incident that's pretty much making mass appeal in the circles of media and social media. It's always the lone white guy. Just it's like the Las Vegas shooter. Anyone that's buying that malarkey in 2025, good night, nurse, please. Please. I say that with some trepidation and caution because there might be listeners that are believing that. I don't think there are. But then again, the stuff I was going to cover before this popped off today was the hilarious joke level of North Carolina. The joke level of North Carolina where Lyles, the scumbag mayor of Charlotte, somehow won her primary by 74% yesterday. So, as I say often, never underestimate the stupidity of the American public. It knows no bounds, absolutely zero bounds. If you don't believe me, look back at video from the COVID hoax where there's people getting shamed for not wearing masks, where there's family members shrieking in horror at the Christmas and Thanksgiving table. So just never underestimate the stupidity of the American public, folks. Never underestimate that. But I'm going to close on this one because I think I've kind of talked enough. We've seen enough video and audio and still footage and everything else. But I'm going to close on this one because in case you missed it, there's this as well. Put this on the screen for you. We'll go big screen if you want to. It doesn't matter to me. Shooter dead. 2 other students in critical condition after shooting at Colorado High School. I swear, folks, there seems to be something going on in Colorado, doesn't it? If you don't remember, that would be the granddaddy of them all. I'm blanking. I'm sorry. I'm so brain fried on all this stuff. The Columbine shooting. Thank you. The Columbine shooting and the Boulder shooting. But the Columbine shooting being the granddaddy of them all, or at least there was a 70s shooting where the girl, said she didn't like Mondays and was picking off students. But in my humble opinion, the Columbine operation seemed to be the granddaddy of them all. If you've not looked into that, please do, because that stinks 6 days a week and twice on Sunday, Just stinks. That whole situation there stinks. Not as much as the Sandy Hook false flag, but assuredly the Columbine thing stinks. If you've not looked into that, please do, because there's definitely folks saying that there was people with buzz cuts and fatigues doing a lot of the shooting in La Escuela. There's also rounds that were found also dentro de la escuela that do not match the rounds from the 2 would-be shooters, Harrison Klebold or what have you, the patsies for that event. I'm not saying they didn't fire shots. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying the thing stinks. There was something else going on in Columbine that they don't want to talk about. Where are these mysterious other rounds from that were found on the crime scene? You got some guy just dropping rounds out of his book bag that he shot off at home or something? I don't know. There's also other people in the club, so to speak, that were obviously in the parking lot with the 2 assailants. Anyway, I didn't mean to get off on the Columbine jag. I say that because I can't find anybody that will even touch the Columbine situation. If you know anybody, shoot me some info in the comments, pun intended, because there's bound to be somebody that'll talk about the Columbine stuff. I realize, the American public has the intellect and memory of a goldfish. So, just as we've already moved on from the Ukrainian woman getting murdered in Charlotte, North Carolina, I guarantee in a couple days this will just be fodder for the next bird cage, you know. But I digress. Here we go again. Shooter dead, 2 other students in critical condition. This is at a Colorado high school. Evergreen High broke out about 12:24 p.m. I guess that will be mountain time. 3 students were taken to hospital, critical condition following the gunfire, including suspected shooter who was injured by a self-inflicted gunshot wound, the sheriff's office says. Suspect died in a The sheriff's office confirmed the suspect died in a post on social media Wednesday evening. From what I read before, it appeared that he had a revolver. The person who is muerto. So, anyway, I know I'm going over my time. We're sitting over an hour here, so sorry. But I just wanted to close on this evening because we are clearly on the precipice of 9/11. We've had the murder of the Ukrainian woman in Charlotte, North Carolina by a piece of hog phlegm, garbage. And now we've got Charlie Kirk. I don't even know if there's any more breaking news. Feel free to throw them in the comments as far as what's going down with that person. The shooter, is he captured? Is he not captured? Is he at large? Is it a he at all? We don't know. But what I would say here at the anniversary of 9/11, they love to give things away in code, don't they? So they love to give you information at certain times, at numerological anniversaries and the like. So it's, in my humble opinion, that there's going to be a lot more of this. I would hedge my bet that there's going to be someone on the left variety that's also going to be taken out by someone they're going to frame as a right radical, white supremacist, Trump supporter, Charlie Kirk acolyte. That's what's coming next, folks. So that's my thought on this whole thing. The calculus for me says they've used a black man to kill a white girl. So if you remember that, last name was Brown. And just so happened he murdered like the picturesque white innocent girl. Blonde hair, blue eyes, Snow White, murdered her in cold blood on a train in Charlotte. So far, we've killed a white girl at the hands of a black guy. So far, we have killed a very big name conservative pundit by, I would assume, at least they'll frame the patsy as a would-be extremist on the left. I don't think they can possibly flip this on the right unless they say it was somehow anti-Semitic, which is possible. But I'm thinking the third shoe to drop, because as my friend, he says things always happen in threes. So I'm thinking the next shoe to drop is going to be someone on the left taken out by a supposed patsy on the right. That's just my thoughts. And I would not be a bit surprised if it don't happen on 9/11. If it doesn't happen in the daytime hours of tomorrow, I'm thinking it'll be pretty darn close. So I say all that to say this. Be careful out there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you've learned nothing from the coverage on this show in the last few days, it should be to be very careful. I said this to some friends and family a couple hours ago. I said, lock and load and get ready for what's coming. And I am not suggesting violence of any sort or variety or anything else, folks. So before anybody comes knocking on my door, no, save that for somebody else. I ain't saying nothing about violence, folks. I don't want anybody to be violent out there. I would say to be defensive, to have your eyes up always, to put your stupid phone away, to take those moronic earbuds out of your ears and stop looking like a mentally retarded troglodyte from another dimension. Stop it. Now is not the time to be a victim. Now is not the time to cry in your beer, I'm the victim and they're going to get... No, that's stupid, folks. That's very stupid. I'd suggest watching the original Death Wish Charles Bronson playing Paul Kersey. I love Bruce Willis, but that new remake was doo-doo. We all know remakes are turds. Don't watch new stuff. Watch the old one, the 70s version of Death Wish. But I will say be vigilant, indeed. Be cautious. Be vigilant and be ready. Okay? If you got your concealed carry, keep one in the chamber. Keep it in its proper holster. And be vigilant. Because it's quite clear that they, whoever they are, and I'm agreeing with you folks on the chat. I'm agreeing, yeah. Israel likes to run their own ops and blame it on somebody else. They love false flags. That's how it works, folks. That's how it works. So I ain't saying it's them. Couldn't possibly be our greatest ally, could it? Couldn't be our greatest ally. Let me see. I don't even think I put the show art up today. That's just how ridiculous I was. I did not put the show art up today. How could I miss the doggone show art? That's just ridiculous, folks. Just ridiculous. Heavens to Murgatroyd. Just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Oh well, it's not going to work, I suppose, but it's okay. It doesn't upset my apple cart one little bit because I know. I'm not even going to relay this story. It's too funny. And it's poisonal. We don't want to get poisonal, do we? As an aunt of mine once said, I know what's been said about me. Let's see if by any chance of our Heavenly Father in heaven that we could possibly get this to work. There's the show art. What do you know? It's the show art that I wanted to show you so long ago, but alas, just could not do it. It's okay, though. That's the show art for this show. Flashpoint USA. That is the show art for the show, and that's exactly what this show was about. So in closing, please do be vigilant out there, folks. Please do. Don't take any chances. When you're with your family, I would say be doubly cautious, men, and I'm talking to the men folk out there. Women folk, you got to be cautious too. Don't take unnecessary chances. Keep your children close. It always hacks me off. I don't care the age. I'm sorry. I do not care the age, dads. And I'm talking to the dads out there. Women, do your own stupidity if you want to. But dads, nothing ticks me off more when I happen to have the misfortune of having to go out and about amongst the general public. And inevitably, I see a dad walking with his kids, and he is not holding their hand. Dads, you got to hold the kid's hand. I'm saying, I don't give a rat's how old the kid is at this point. If the kid is in their 50s, Dad, if you're in your 80s or 70s, you better hold that kid's hand. I'm serious, man. I'm sorry. Because things can pop off just like that. And if you got the kid by the hand, you can jerk that kid with you and get it to safety. You can fall down upon that child, cover it up from gunfire, or just get them out of Dodge. Because it's at the point, ladies and gentlemen, that we do not know what in the devil is going to go on from breath to breath when we're out amongst the reptiles. Yeah, I'm not kidding, man. When we're out among, the room temperature IQ folks, there is no telling what's going to pop off. I mean, somebody could get mad in traffic. Somebody could get mad at a store. Somebody could just pop off like that scumbag animal in Charlotte and start stabbing people, folks. So we have to be vigilant. Dads particularly. When you're going out with the family, make sure that you are keeping that head on a swivel. I hate to blame the women folk, but sometimes the women ain't keeping the head on a swivel. My daughter is. Yep. She knows what's up. But I see this all the time. People just carelessly wandering around, especially going through crosswalks, about to get hit by a car. Not a care in the world. Everybody's got their earbuds in. Everybody's playing with their phone. Stop it. Now ain't the time. Do that at the house. With the door closed, do that at the house. Perfect time to listen to music when you're at your house. It ain't time to listen to music when you're out and about because you just don't know what's going down, folks. There is operatives everywhere. There is low IQ crazy people everywhere. And there's just people with nothing left to lose everywhere. That's what was going on with the COVID hoax. I think a lot of people took the vaccine because the whole shakedown of the lockdown put them in such a bleeped up mindset. They were just like, I don't care, I want to die. And we all know that once one of these incidences pops off, many will follow because the American people has the brain of a newt. And they will just do the monkey see, monkey do thing. They will see somebody else do it. I better start killing too. I better start taking things into my own hands. That Charlie Kirk, he wasn't the only Nazi. Oh, no. See, that's what's going down, folks. You got to be vigilant. You got to stay on top of things. I've talked too much. I'm going to shut it down. You can't do everything, but you can do something. Please get out there, do your part, make a difference. I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the AnomicAge. By sooner, I mean Thursday night, 11:30 p.m. to 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much, folks. I'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to the AnomicAge, a JohnAge project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to AnomicAge.com. That's AnomicAge.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to the AnomicAge.